I was very note that I wasn't involved in this. I just seen that.
We will make that
Okay.
clear.
I don't want any ties.
Yeah, we'll make that clear. No, we didn't. I didn't throw any disclaimers or hide any.
I could have sent another form so you didn't have to print my picture. I like to use that one though, most of the time for good purposes.
It's a really good
but
picture.
Thank you.
No, I recognize you. I'm not hiding my hair. We have to wait till 6 o'clock to be official, you guys, so just a couple more minutes. Let me check that. 6 o'clock, Mr. Jefferson.
Okay, you have the little sheet for the order of business for each case. As well as you first, second, and third.
Do we have that?
I think I remember it, but it's.
Have like that. See if that works. Okay, my name's on it, so we're gonna double that. Hi, can I get you guys to sign in, please?
Thank you for welcome.
How are you?
Good. So order of the past 20 minutes. Don't worry about it. Dave, I know. We. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think.
Not sure.
Okay, so that, yeah, that's fine. Now, that's fine. Or I can find it as far as.
Right, right. That would be the first. Oh, That's, well, yeah, just let us know. We'll get an
yeah, prompt me if I don't do things in the way there.
Okay, sorry.
All right, I think we are ready to get started. The April 24th, 2023 Board of Adjustment meeting here in Jackson County. First item is the roll call. If you would.
David Kendall,
Present.
Abigail Schuler, here, Daryl DeVore,
Here.
Mike Nickerson,
Here.
and Pete Fish.
Here. And first, welcome Pete Fish, new member of the Board of Adjustment. Thank you. Thank you for volunteering your time. Okay, second item is the approval of minutes from November 28th, 2022. Due to a typographical error that went out through the paper, we're going to put those on hold. We'll look at those next month or at the next Board of Adjustment meeting and approve those minutes at that time.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we're ready to get started. First docket is 23-02. Applicant is Nathan Lageson, correct? Yep. Nathan Lageson. The proposal is the application has that Nathan Lageson be granted special exemption number 23-02 to operate a home industry repairing and rebuilding vehicles. So Nathan, if you would, take the podium and give us a summary of what you're asking to do.
I'm just pretty much asking me to get a dealer's license. Do too many cars within the year, so they want me to do that. So I need to get my property rezoned to do that.
May I interrupt?
Yep.
We're not doing a rezoning. We're asking for a special exception
Okay.
use for a home industry in our R1 residentially zoned property.
Okay.
And they also interrupt to say whoever has the dog. Working something? Yes.
I might have muted them.
Okay, the dog has a comment, whether. Otherwise. All right, Nathan, so you're asking for a special exemption to the zoning
Yes,
to create a home business.
yes.
Okay. Could you just again describe the nature of what you're trying to do there, you know, what currently is in place and what you're trying to do?
I do some rebuilders, buy the wrecked cars, fix them, resell, make a little extra income. So I'm gonna try to start doing that, but doing it the legal way. I just try to want me to do.
All right.
Just to just to kind of catch everybody up, and Lori had called me about this, you purchased this property with the thought that you were gonna be able to do that already, correct?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna roll over the list stocks.
Found out the previous owner had kind of jumped some steps and was just doing it without anybody else's approval.
Yep.
Okay,
They had a special exception, but they were not commercial, is my understanding. They had a home industry.
okay.
And with the sale of the property, the exception doesn't move on to the new one in this case.
Correct.
Okay,
So that even a special exemption that we might grant, but also be with just the owner, the current owner only.
That is correct.
so a question on your business then, so you're buying used or something off an auction or from somebody else, restoring this vehicle and then reselling it to the
Correct.
public? Okay, and I read in here, you need a special license to do that.
Correct.
Okay. Is this the type of business though, where if I wanted to schedule an oil change with you, I could do that, or is that
No.
different? Okay.
No, this is all my personal vehicles that I will buy and do my own.
Okay.
But you're selling it off of them that they want you to have a dealer license. Which, what is the requirements for getting a dealer's license? You have to have regular hours?
I'm not sure on that yet. I'd have to go through this step first, to even see if eligible to open the dealer's license.
Okay.
Um,
But you're turning, and I don't know what the number is, but I know that there is a number of vehicles that you're
Six.
reselling, okay,
And do 60 years.
6 a year, okay, which isn't much.
No. And I've been there, 6 years in July, so I've been kind of doing off and on vehicles since then, after the cleanup, of course.
And you're
Must have
doing,
cleaned
and I know they
couple
changed the
years.
laws within the last year or two on how many you can turn. Is that kind of what applied to this?
I don't know, they just caught me up there and like, I was like, I'm trying to go through
Okay, I.
The right
just
steps
thought he
to
was
get this
saying
taken
stuff,
care of.
He was complaining about some of the, how many he was selling, that he's had to change some of that a little bit too, so. I just- Okay, got it.
And this is a business where you are the sole owner,
the, yeah,
mechanic, you're not
Yeah.
hiring any outside help? It's-
no outside help, no.
so it's
It's just on my spare time. I
Okay,
work at John Deere regular,
okay,
full time, so.
all right.
So this is purely a secondary business.
Yes. Just wanting, like a couple cars. It's all concrete now, there's been gravel before.
Yeah,
How many do you think you're gonna get up to?
Hopefully not many.
I mean,
If I do, then I'll get another lot. I look at buying something somewhere. But 3, 4 cars tops. Like I usually,
3 or 4 a year or
no,
at a
like
time?
at a time sitting there, maybe.
What was the special exception prior to you owning the property?
It was, well, I don't know how it really started. But it got a little out of hand, carried away. I could even find some old aerial photography. It was basically being used as a junkyard. It was a tow truck company owner. They did salvage work and there was,
Vehicle restoration.
yeah, with lots of parts and junk and vehicles all strewed about the property. It was a real eyesore to the area, which it doesn't look like that anymore, at all.
There are 220 tires laying in the yard. That I had to get rid of.
So you've been there 6 years now,
Yeah, we'll be in July.
and you've been doing this for the last couple of years, but things have changed a little bit.
Yeah, after the cleanup,
Okay,
took a while to clean out.
but you've been turning cars for that long?
Yeah. I've been doing it in Dubuque before that. Before I moved to Bellevue.
Nathan, is your building big enough to house indoors all the vehicles you would be working on?
Yes,
One time?
got a 60 by 40 shop and then it's got maybe 2 on the side. It's
Okay,
fully enclosed.
you mentioned if you have 4 vehicles at the time, you could house all 4 vehicles inside your shop.
Yes.
And then once a vehicle is completed and ready for sale, then what happens?
Usually I do marketplace. is how I'm doing, so
Okay, online advertising.
purely online, you know, probably advertisement.
Is the vehicle moved outside, displayed with a for sale sign somewhere visible from the road, or how does that work?
Before I did a couple out in the yard and for sale, but it wouldn't be that way with the dealer license, you know, with the. It'd just be online advertisement.
Okay. So you wouldn't have 3 or 4 vehicles sitting out in your parking lot with banners and for sale signs on it?
No.
That's not the expectation. Okay.
That's what that property looked like in 2013. And that's what that property looked like in 2016. Nathan took possession of it in 16 or 17, and this was the 2020 area. This was the 2022. So great improvement made since the previous owner doesn't own
Wow.
Good job.
That was hard work.
Looked at that and bought it anyway.
Yeah. Well, if you buy a hardware store and another one for parts, what are you gonna do with the parts car?
I usually junk it right away after I'm done with the parts car.
And again, that parts car then stays indoor the whole time until you're ready to tow it out or have somebody come and get it. You do your own towing or you?
Yeah, I do my own towing.
Okay. And you have the tow truck that also can be hauled inside.
I just got a single car trailer.
Okay.
I can't imagine the neighbors complaining.
Well, I read the letters that are all very complimentary of the cleanup that you've done there, so.
Yeah. They're all happy.
All right. Any more questions from the board? Okay, any more comments at this point, Nathan? No, thank you. You have a seat. I think now we open it up to comments from the public. Is that correct?
it.
Anyone from the public have any comments on this proposal?
See if there's somebody from the neighborhood here.
If you would.
Go up there.
And just state your name too, Scott, please.
It's Dr. Scott Anderson, Bellevue, Iowa, just across the street. I was concerned, I'm not as concerned now. The previous picture that you saw was a patient of mine, and it was a mess there. And I don't want to disparage anybody, but it got really challenging with the older picture to where the neighbors around him were so upset that he was forced to build a fence. So he had a white fence about that tall to hide all the stuff. I don't know if it showed yet. Right here's the white fence, and it was because the neighbors were not very happy. And that's what I was, even though it's been cleaned up, it looks gorgeous. Okay? I love how it looks now. I was a little worried. My wife's very worried. She's watching on Zoom right now because she couldn't make it. We were just worried that you were going to be having 6 or 10 or 12 cars sitting out in the front yard with the for sale banners on. And when you're telling me you're selling it online in your sale and it's going to be in the barn, I don't have a problem personally. I can't speak for the rest of my neighbors, but I'm just across the street from you. Okay, so I'm the one to see it. I was a little worried about the exemption. At first, I was thinking that it was a rezoning, and I had to fight that with my other neighbor. He wanted to rezone his commercial, and he wanted to put a boat shop in there and sell it to this gentleman who 2 years later stopped selling boats. So then what's going to be across the street from me? Okay, that's what I'm worried about. Is are we going to be working on diesel trucks and we're going to be working on boats and rather motors during the day? Are we going to be, if you're just doing cars and you're doing it all indoors and you're not making an atrocious racket? And I haven't heard that much in the last 6 years. Of course, I worked till 6 a.m. So if you're working after 6, you know, I'm usually in bed by 8:30, so I haven't heard that. And so I'm not as worried as what I was originally, because I thought we were gonna have a bunch of cars out on the concrete trying to sell them. But if you're selling online. And they're hidden, I don't see a big problem with that. I said I came here very nervous about what I was gonna hear. So my big thing would be, you're working on cars, fine. Are we doing trucks? Are we gonna then do big trucks? Are we gonna get semi-trailers in there? That's the kind of stuff that would make me nervous. I'm hoping to retire in 5 to 10 years, and I have to sell my house. My kids are all moving to Dubuque, so I'm going where the grandkids are. But I can't sell my house if I've got another mess right across the street. I won't be able to sell the house. So that's what I was worried about. But I'm not hearing anything traumatic at the moment. So if the cars are indoors and you're working on them indoors, and you don't have cars outside on cinder blocks sitting with no wheels on them because you're figuring out, trying to figure out what to do because you don't have room in your place, then I'm upset. So if I don't have to make any, and then that's the whole thing too. If it is approved and the other patient or the other residents in the area have a complaint, you know, is there a process for complaining to him first where maybe he can take care of the problem? And then if it's not resolved, his license is revoked where he doesn't have that special privilege. It'd just be nice that the people in the area have some say in what goes on in their neighborhood too. So just asking for fairness.
May I ask Scott a question?
Yes, all right.
Would you be opposed if there was a car or two sitting on the driveway that he had listed for sale that looked like any other car that was just parked there?
No, I mean, because everybody does that. Everybody puts the car out in the front, right on the road as you're driving by, you see a for sale sign. I just don't want numerous cars out there. I don't want it to look like a car lot. You know, that gets sort of like the guy that on your way up to Dubuque and he's up on the left on the hill. Well, he's out in the country. You got all those cars lined up there. That's what his job is. I'm sure his land is his own for that kind of stuff. But when we're living in a residential area, it should be residential. So no, I don't have a problem with 1 or 2, but over 2, I'm starting to get a little upset because it doesn't need to look like a car lot. He's got it looking so beautiful right now. We don't need all that other stuff on there. Okay, any other questions?
Any other comments? No. All right, thank you, doctor. Any other comments from the guests?
Is there anyone else up there? No, okay.
Okay,
I do have some people to check with. Okay, going to the Zoom call. So Scott's iPad, that's Rhonda, right, Scott?
Most likely,
Okay.
although I don't have an iPod, it's usually Ron's iPad.
Oh, hang on here, Lynn. Whoever's using the iPad, if you have comments about this case, please unmute yourself. I'll go down to the next one, since there's no response. Whoever's calling from 485-2955, if you have comments on this case, please unmute yourself. And I'll bypass Eric because I know what case you're listening to. Then a Zoom member called Janet. Janet, if you have a comment to make on this case, if you please unmute yourself. I'm gonna guess we don't have any comments from the
Okay.
gallery.
all right, if there's no further comments, then the next step would be, I'm going to close
I move we close the public hearing.
have a motion to close, a second,
Okay,
we need a vote on that motion.
yes, please.
All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed.
Can I, who motioned to second?
I moved.
You moved. I was saying, okay, sorry, thank you.
Next is discussion amongst the members, Board of Adjustments.
Well, it seems that some conditions would be appropriate. No commercial advertising. A minimum of, say, 2 cars outside with for sale.
Minimum or maximum?
Maximum.
Maximum, yeah. So no commercial advertising, 2 cars maximum outside. Something like no junk cars. No cars missing parts or something like that, or to be displayed or to be outside of the building. Anything else?
I did have one question, Nathan. Your hours of doing this, you say you work at John Deere during the day and this would be after
Yes,
the evening into the night. I know you're using probably pneumatic tools, things like that. I'm not sure how far away your neighbors are, doctor, but if you're running a Aragonian or impact wrench,
I have not heard, but he lives closer to some other people, so for where I'm living, I hear the train more than I hear.
That's the railroad city.
Yeah, he's right next to it. I'm the street away from it, but, yeah, so I have not heard, but again, I get home at 6:30. And so it depends on how late you're working or whatever. Maybe if I have our windows open and you're using something banging and I'm upset that I can't fall asleep, then I'd be upset, but I have not heard too much, so.
I go to bed early too.
Yeah.
Get up at 4:30 to go to work.
One of the other things that was also suggested, to me was no signs. You weren't looking to do any signs, were you making? Okay, because that would have been one of the other recommendations that I might put towards you guys for that.
one of the conditions.
One of the
signage,
conditions, yes.
Advertising the business.
Yeah,
Commercial, yeah.
okay.
And I guess I don't consider a for sale sign. Commercial sign.
But nothing permanent
Right.
in all the real estate. Okay.
Preserve the residential neighborhood. Flavor of the neighborhood.
Is there already a noise ordinance that the city has that says, you can't go out and build your house at 11 o'clock at night?
Well, he's outside of the city. We only deal with cases that are outside of a corporate city limits. And to the best of my knowledge, we really don't have any true set times. But then again, most people in a neighborhood are usually pretty respectful.
Both sides of the street have their own restricted covenants. So my side is very restricted. You can't have a vehicle. I can't have my boat parked out for more than 2 days. They see that the third day, they're gonna talk to me and I've got to move it. So I have, getting ready for vacation or something. I might have it there 2-3 days and they know I'm going on vacation and loading it up. But otherwise you can't have that on my side. His side of the street, it's allowed a little bit more legally. It's an older thing. Mine is the Wagner subdivision. Use yours, the Daggett. I'm not sure exactly. The Daggett subdivision. And so there's not as many restricted covenants on their side.
So I guess you summarize the conditions then, Lori?
Yeah, so no more than 2 vehicles outside to be sold, no commercial signage. No dismantled vehicles or auto parts outside. And that the property owner agrees to haul the junk away right away and not to store it outside. Did I leave anything off?
Just one other question on, if he does sell the property, then we don't have to have a condition in there that this carries over.
No, we just need to,
Non-transferable.
it is non-transferable and we need to have realtors that are responsibly representing the property that they're selling.
I did not represent that property. I just
I
want.
knew there were some issues and I reached out to Abby for the MLS listing sheet. So yes, this was not her property.
We'll let the record reflect that.
I know she was nervous about it.
Here, I'll spray this information.
It was an auction.
All right. So we have the conditions as stated.
I would think we should amend the one condition instead of right away. Couple days, you put a time period on it,
Oh,
because
I
right
see
away
what
to
you're
me
saying.
is right away,
Yeah,
but it may be tomorrow or,
yeah.
I've got to, I'm set it here and, take it out Saturday and what,
So do we want to, within a week, 2 weeks?
And that was pertaining to hauling away junk parts and things like that.
Yeah. That's up to you guys to put if you want to put a specific amount of
I'd say a
time.
week is fair. And regardless, they can't be displayed outside anyway, so.
Right, they'll be stored inside. Okay.
But yeah, you wouldn't park it out for a couple of days, hook up to your record and then haul it out. Okay, fair enough. Any other conditions at this point?
Let me look at the letter, basically, and then just to know that the property owners can, you know, of course, talk to Jason, that's, or Nathan, that's always the easiest, I mean, neighborly route to go if there's problems. But, you know, if that fails, then they could call us and we could verify that there's actually an issue. And,
I'm sure there can be neighbors talking to.
yeah,
No offense, but if
It's-
somebody's gonna mention something and I'll tell them to talk to me about it and I will.
or no, they can actually talk to him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Either way. but-
Right, because
but
we're all
it's-
adults.
What we are, and he is the land has improved so much since he bought it, so I don't see it being unreasonable.
I don't either. So,
I just don't see
Yeah.
it, but I don't know you that well, but I don't see that, so.
But
Thanks.
I move to approve his special exception as with the conditions as stated.
Okay, we have the motion and we have a second. Any other discussion by the board? Any comments? Okay. All those in favor of the motion to approve the special exemption for Nathan Augustine? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Motion passed. Thank you. All right. For those that. You guys have fun, okay?
Poplar, okay.
Yep. Enjoy.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, take care. All right. Next. Paperwork up here. Two. 23-03. Applicant Rick and Julie Thompson, the proposal ask that Rick and Julie Thompson be granted a variance for 23-03 to build a garage and entry to the home as close as 11 feet to the front property line. All right. All right, so we have, Richard or Julie Thompson here?
Yes.
Both of us. All right, Richard. Yeah, if you could describe what you're trying to do as part of this.
Basically, now the home has no garage and I'd like to put a garage in the front. Because of the contour of the lot, it really is the only place that I can put one. Also, I mean, just for the convenience of being able to have a garage. And with the construction of it, it'll actually be, make it a zero entry walkway onto the deck and into the home. So it will take the steps out of play. This is our retirement home. The steps aren't that big of a problem now. Who knows? Someday it might be. But in looking at it, that's the way I'm engineering it or having it built. And I'd still that would leave enough room in between the lot line and the actual paved road. That there would still be room in front of the garage for a car without impeding anybody's line of sight or the roadway at all.
So the property is the one, kind of looks like the state of Tennessee there with the
Yeah.
green border around it.
Yeah.
All right. And looks like Lori, you're hovering on the house.
I am,
Okay,
yeah,
and then the proposed building is going north and east of the house.
yeah,
Yeah.
right through here.
Right at that
Um,
corner.
And just so you guys are aware, the roads, the property lines do not display truly on here, and that they have had a survey done to represent, which I believe there's a copy in your packets of the survey that was a retracement survey of that lot. And I can find it on here also.
Okay.
It would be. So right now, the house is 42 feet back behind the right of way. and 42, 41 and a half, or 42, 42 and a half. So the setback would be, you're asking for 17 feet,
11.
or excuse me, 11 feet?
Yeah.
So that would bring it back a little bit. 11 roughly, I didn't,
Which is then how far from the road,
Pardon me,
how far from the road,
would the garage be?
distance from your garage door to the street?
Probably 14 feet, 14 to 15 feet. From where the paved road starts.
And is there gonna be a driveway then from this new building to the road directly, or is it gonna kind of move to the southeast there?
No, it will be directly from the road onto the driveway.
Yeah.
In front of the garage, yeah.
where I've got the marker, I don't know if you can see it, I'll wiggle it a little bit. That's about 41 and a half, 42 feet from the house.
Right.
So that's what the survey's showing you, that the property line is actually 42 feet. You can see that the lines are shifted and do not represent accurately the, what the survey represents. And your garage was how wide, 20,
24 deep,
okay, 24 deep,
right,
so, and how many feet away from the house, 40 or 4, 5?
5.
So that gives you 25 feet,
29, or
excuse me, yeah, 29 feet.
29.
And so, and actually your 11-foot asking is, it might be, is,
It
12 feet,
probably
15
would be
feet.
closer to 12 or 13 feet, but
Okay.
in the initial request that I had made, I followed inaccurate advice and somebody told me that the 911 posts were put on the property lines. So I eyeballed and shot that thinking it was the property line and then started measuring back. But that wasn't accurate. So instead of 11 feet, it would, like I said, it'll be closer to 12 or 13.
which is still better than 11.
And then the setback from the north side of the building will be between the green line and edge of the building. Yeah, kind of that northwest.
14 feet. Yeah.
Which the setback is 10.
So we're good on that.
Yep.
Yeah, and on the other side, it's at 19 feet.
And just, can you put that picture back up of the property? This, so it looks like there's those trees there then to the north.
Yes.
Northwest of where this building would sit. Right there, tree line, or it's just. Yeah, okay.
You know, I guess it's. The neighbor had taken down some trees. I'm trying to, that one isn't all that big. It's there now.
Just curious.
That, I just measured off like 24 feet. Yeah, so it looks pretty accurate from the side setbacks where the house is. They're not as skewed as the front setbacks are.
And then the 11-foot setback towards the road, that property is fairly flat there and slight slope towards the road.
It slopes down towards the lake, but I will build it up with the cross walls so that from the road to the patio will actually be 100% level. To the deck, yeah, to the walkway or.
There won't be any excessive water drainage because of this going on.
No, not at all.
All right.
And I'll do the same gutter systems and so forth that the house has on. For the north. East side, is that southwest side there?
Yeah. And then, any other comments?
No,
Okay, any other questions from the board? All right, thank you.
thank you.
Any comments or questions, or anyone want to say anything about this case? Yes. Okay, will we close the public hearing?
Sorry.
Well, hold on, I'm gonna go Zoom.
We need to check our Zoom.
I was just gonna say, check the Zoom.
Is there anyone on the public hearing that would like to on the Zoom call that would like to unmute themselves to speak to the board about this Thompson case at Leisure Lake?
Hearing none.
I don't believe so.
All right, do I entertain a motion then?
I will close the public hearing.
Second.
That motion to close the public hearing in a second. Okay. For the board, all those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed. Any additional comments or discussion from the board?
Home association have to approve this.
There was, you had to go to your zoning commission at, Leisure
Yes.
Lake Property Owners Association, and they are aware and had no concerns.
Their only comment was when they knew that I was going this route to get it approved and the variance, they gave it their blessings and said that's fine with them. It will be a concrete slab with a stick-built garage. I mean, it's gonna be a nice structure, I mean, so it's.
It'll certainly add curb appeal.
Yeah.
Because it's not much right now.
So you're good to go with them.
Yes, yes, 100%.
Any conditions from the board on this? Okay. Hearing none, entertain a proposal. Or a motion.
I make a motion to approve the variance as it's set, as long as he has a homeowners association's approval.
Okay. Motion. Second. We have a second. Any other comments by the board? Any other questions? All right, the proposal is, or the motion is to approve as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Variance is granted. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't feel like you gotta stick around.
Really exciting Monday night act.
Yeah.
Good luck to everybody else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get with me and we'll get that permit issued, okay?
Okay.
Next one on the docket is number 23-04 with Eric and Kenny Feldman. And the proposal is the application asks that Eric and Kenny Feldman be granted variance number 23-04. To build a storage shed as close as 12 feet to the front property line. Now, give me just a second here to find the right paperwork. All right, and Eric?
Basically, right now, there's an 8x12 shed in the same spot, and I'm just wanting to get rid of that and put a larger structure in place.
Is that the red one that's in the?
Yes,
picture
correct.
here?
Yep.
Okay. That one, I'm just curious, gonna be destroyed, or are you gonna sell it, or?
Yeah, I'll probably sell it, or yeah.
Looks like it's in halfway decent condition.
Yep.
Okay. So your new proposed shed is going to be, how large? I'm sorry,
14x24.
14 by 24, there we go. And basically in the same footprint?
Yep.
Just expanded footprint?
Yep,
Right where my cursor is, right here.
yep, right behind the row of arborvitae trees up front there.
Mhm. Will you have to cut down any trees to allow for this new shed?
Nope.
Squeeze it right in. the
Yep.
existing trees. Great. All right. See, that is north up, so to the highway 52.
Yeah, I can zoom out and
Yep.
show you a little bit. It's north of, I know you guys probably don't know Spruce Creek Nursery and 308th Street, but if you're going up, oh, yeah, I can't tell them Shelby Hill either, can I, Dave?
It's across from the entrance to CC Hammond's and the rest of that is.
Yeah, about a
I
quarter
know
mile
that, Yeah,
from there.
Right across the broad Conrad.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It's, yeah, we're about, 2 miles north of where you're trying to go to offshore.
Okay.
And I was just gonna show here a little bit of, how wide the right of way is in this area. Which I know you would, we talked a lot.
Yeah, there was
and-
some confusion. on
Yeah,
that,
there was some
so,
confusion about where the right of way actually was, and so many people always think that. When we start our setbacks, it started at the center line of the road or the shoulder. No, it's that far behind the right of way. So on this one, you can see that the. Where is my right of way? You can see how wide that right of way is. So basically, even from the center line of the road, we're running,
It's about 100.
yeah, just right at 100 is where hers, his, arborvitae start. Or at the middle of your arborvitae.
Yeah, so it'd be probably roughly 115 feet from the center of the road. If you just started it.
So he's too close to the right of way. I mean, he's more than, or less than 40 feet from the right of way. But you can see how wide that right of way is.
Is the DOT then contacted on this or
No,
they never, or then they didn't have to make a comment or anything?
not that I've ever seen that we've had to. There is one of the cases still here tonight that I did just talk to secondary roads about. But, I just did that, just because I had questions on that one. It's a different situation.
So if I'm clear, then the 12-foot setback you're asking for is to the front property line, which
Yes, sir.
overlaps the highway right away. Is that correct?
No, it's behind well, it depends. Some people, he probably thinks he owns the ditch. He does, but he doesn't.
Right.
So and also sometimes it depends on how your survey is drawn out too. But we always start our measurements behind the right of way.
Yeah, that's where the 12 foot would be right from the right of
Mhm.
to the beginning of it.
From the boundary of the right of way.
Got it. There, that's a better way to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the existing one.
Yeah. And there was some confusion when he initially presented his application, and then we talked
Yep.
and kind of got on the same page.
So basically it'll be, yeah, you can see the row of trees in the picture that are gonna be on the other side of it. Actually, right where those wood stakes are, where it would be.
That's the four corners of the.
Well, the three and then, back corner of the shed, would be the other one, yep.
The footprint of
Yep.
the proposed building.
Yep.
All right.
And this is a better example of what he's looking for the setback.
Then the blue line running east-west there is the property line.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the right away is just south of that property.
Yes, sir.
It's not infringing on the right of way.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he is not proposing to build in the right line.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right. Any other questions or any other comments?
No, I don't think so. We do own the property to the east too, if that makes a difference.
Good to know. Okay.
Which that setback will qualify for the.
Okay. Board, any other questions or comments? That's fine. All right. Okay, thank you, Eric. Any comments or questions or the guests? Hearing none, we'll check the Zoom, see if anybody's still hanging in there in Zoom.
I think I only have the one. Yeah, we only have the one left, and I know what case he's watching.
Okay, very good. All right, with that, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion to close in a second. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Right. Board discussion. I don't see any real major issues there. It's right in the corner, it's a lot, so,
Some feet from the road, behind trees.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to pose a hindrance to the highway
Well,
or anything like that. And if there was ever any issues, traffic wreck wise or something, they'd be in their arborvitae's before they would that said.
The DOT isn't gonna expand the road anytime soon, probably.
I would hope not. That one, that already has the climbing lane there, the slow lane.
Yeah, that's right where it ends pretty much.
Oh, okay.
And that's part of the reason the right of ways, what it is, that extra, has an extra lane there, but not, doesn't take up that whole 100 feet.
Mhm. Yeah. All right, if there are no other questions or comments from the board, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve, variance 23-04 stated.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Any other comments or questions by the board? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion 23-04 is passed. Thank you, Eric.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Be talking to me and we'll get you that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Next up is docket number 23-05. Applicant is Cameron and Christine Wilson. The proposal, the application asks that Cameron and Christine Wilson be granted special exemption number 2305 to operate a salon as a home industry. Give me just a second to get the right paperwork up here and we'll be ready to go. All right. Christine?
Yep,
Okay.
basically, I just want to move my salon to, we are building a shed with a salon, which will be, if approved, a salon attached. And we already have the permit to build that. But I just want to get my exemption to work there. I only work part-time. I'm a stay-at-home part-time mom also. I have an 8-year-old and as of tomorrow, 1-year-old. So this is, my family comes first. My kids are my #1 priority and work comes next.
Okay.
My husband's doing that. He's the best.
So as far as I could tell from the documentation, you've got a fairly good sized shed or building that you're building here on the property.
Yep, and the salon size we would be, we plan to build a 60 by 40 shed with the salon being about 22 by 40.
Okay. Contained within, looks like one end of the shed,
Yes,
right? And you'll be the sole employee
Yep.
in this business?
Yes.
No outside help?
No. I've owned my business for over 10 years now, and I think I've had maybe 2 people work with me the entire time, but I decided that I just want to solely be a one-chair salon, just me,
Mhm.
and so it would be just me.
Okay. One of the issues, of course, is around signage. Do you plan to?
Right now, what I have on my salon is I have a window decal on the front door. That's probably, I'll do the same thing. Just to, as an identifier of what it is, but I don't plan on putting a sign out there, a big sign or anything.
Just so your clients know which door to walk
Yep.
into? Right?
Yes,
Okay.
And if that's the case, you want me to talk to you about a sign?
okay.
And as a home industry, you are absolutely limited to one additional employee, right? One
The
additional-
home industry, No, I believe the way home industry, ours is home occupation.
Okay.
Home industry just says that the homeowner has to also work there.
Okay.
It doesn't give, is home occupation, I believe, is the one that
Okay,
specifies
you're right.
no more than one employee. And since it doesn't state anything, that leaves it open.
So we are looking for home industry exception.
Yes, never mind, I'll wait till I'm going.
You have more comments?
We did have a comment from a neighbor, just wanting to be assured that it was just one person.
And
And
that's-
they
yeah.
wouldn't be rubbing chairs or having a nail salon
Right.
person or someone else coming in doing tams. or-
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that
and-
was one of the concerns of the neighbors, just.
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I know my husband talked to him, I didn't get the chance, but, we assured him, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. He just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that I did mention that and get reassurance that
Yeah.
that was actually the case.
Yeah, and if we have to put it in there, that,
And the building is allowed. I mean, that's not our issue, but the building's allowed and there weren't any special exceptions or.
No, matter of fact, we had some concerns and they've resubmitted their plans and proposal, slid the building back so that we could meet the side setbacks.
Okay.
Because there was concerns there, like you saw, and you pointed out, and I was like, no, we got that one covered.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
but so, yeah, they did slide
We
that back.
do have the permit in hand now to start building, and we're just waiting on our contractor now.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none from the board, any other comments from the public, any guests? And Zoom, anyone on Zoom left?
Let me double check to make sure no one jumped
Thank you,
in.
Christine.
No, we still just have a guy that's waiting for a later case.
Okay, very good. I would entertain a motion then to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? All right, all those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, public hearing is closed.
I move that we approve special exception number 23-05 for a home industry from Cameron and Christine Wilson.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve 23-05. Any further comments or questions from the board? Okay, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Okay. Proposal 23-05 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Pretty busy lady with even one.
Very good. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right. Next on the docket. 23-06, owner Gregory J. and Susan Michelle Jepson Family Trust. Proposal, the application as a Clinton County LLC be granted special exemption number 2306 for an MET tower on land owned by Gregory J. and Susan Michelle Jepson Family Trust. Is there someone here to, okay? And you are,
My name is Oleg Albert. I am with Air Energy.
okay,
We raised this at that time, over here, explain what a mentality is.
okay.
Good evening, my name is Oleg Alba. I'm coming from Nextera Energy, and we are asking for a special exemption for the Met Tower that was raised on Mr. and Mrs. Jepson's property. Initially what happened was there was a miscommunication with the contractor. And
the contractors raised this tower unpermitted. And when I found out about this, first thing I did was call Lori. And we identified where this was. The Met Tower, the meteorological tower, used to study the wind resource in the area. So once it meets all the setback requirements of the community. And so essentially we are asking for the permit this Met Tower.
Yeah, we have to get a special exception for the communications tower before we can submit it.
Exactly, yes.
And where is this tower again, if we can zoom out and give us some context here?
We're gonna be southwest of Sebula. So here's Sebula. So this is the county line, so they're like 3/4 of a mile into Jackson County from Clinton County. This is Highway 67, which would come up from like Boulders Hollow in that area.
Has the tower been built already?
Yes, sir.
So the tower exists and it's just there as a test site to see if the wind is sufficient. How many years do you leave it there?
Exactly correct. So that test tower can be up there anywhere from 1 year to 3 years.
So if you eventually build your wind farm somewhere, you take it down and you leave it there as a monitoring station.
No, we would take it down, but then at that point, if we end up doing something, we would come back and we would permit some permanent Met towers in the area. But this particular tower, it's temporary, it's a temporary Met tower.
Okay. But I see it's under 200 feet, so it doesn't meet any FAA regulations that requires height. It's low enough, it's not inhibiting air traffic, things like that. Plus, it's already up in the air, so. I did read too that all the guy wires and all those are sufficiently far enough away, the fall distance is far enough from all the property lines and that sort of thing, so. It meets all the specs, so it sounds like there was a miscommunication. Contractor raised the tower and got it in operation, and then he found out it hadn't been properly vetted somehow.
Unfortunately, that is exactly what happened, and reached out to the county, reached out to Lori, flew in, to reach out guidance. We sat down with the board of supervisors and, put them on, explain to them, this is what's happening, this is what happens, we want to get this right.
How long has it been there?
Since last summer, spring, summer.
And it's fully operational and
Fully
fully
operational.
data.
So we're here for forgiveness.
Kind of.
Okay.
No, gotta take it down, sorry. Okay. Any other comments? Pretty straightforward here.
I will have one on the Zoom meeting, just
Okay.
whenever. Anyone else here on site? To talk about this? We're ready for me to bring in the Zoom call.
If you would.
Eric, you ready?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, my name's Eric Walker. I own a farm about a mile east of that tower. And to be honest, I'm interested in the possibility of actually having wind turbines installed on the farm. So I'm all for it. I was just curious if hopefully there wasn't going to be any issues getting all the paperwork sorted out. So that's all the reason I was on.
Okay,
All right. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that.
thank you thanks for hanging on for so long. We appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Any other comments? Any questions from the board? All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions from the audience? It's pretty straightforward, okay?
How much longer is it gonna be up there, the estimate? Before you're gonna tear it down?
Maximum 2.5 years. At max.
We're looking 23, 24, maybe start at 25, 2025. Because it went up last summer.
when it was last summer, I would expect 2026, this tower would be there. January 2026, the tower would not be up there.
And just a little side question then. What is your expectation as far as wind energy potential in that area, just from what you've seen so far? That's nothing to do with this, I'm just curious.
There's wind energy, the strongest wind in the north of Iowa. But there is winds, and this Met Tower is, we're trying to understand the winds, but we're also studying the eagles in the area, the bats in the area, the other species in the area, and that's really what it's for, it's telling us. That data that we're collecting right now is helping us understand what we can and what we cannot do, and just collecting data points, so to make a decision. Hopefully come back and say, we have this data, we think we can do this. Does the community want it or not? And that's a conversation for, down the road, we hope to have.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. All right, and no other questions or comments from the audience, propose a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any comments or questions, discussion with the board?
I was in the wind industry for a long time and I'm very familiar with the towers. You didn't know it was there, you drive by it every day. And that's probably why it's been there for a year, and nobody even knew.
That's not an area I drive very often. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, you can't see it from any of the highways.
Well, that's what I'm saying, they're very unobtrusive. They're-
I've probably flown over it multiple times and didn't even know it was there. All right, hearing no comments or questions from the board, propose or entertain a motion.
We're gonna put a condition on it that it's taken down by 26 or not important.
I guess my opinion is that it doesn't really matter because it's up in the air already, and even if it stays 10 more years. Property owners are okay with it, it's all the qualifications.
Are the property owners here?
Mr. Jepson was going to attend, but then he called and said he had a family matter.
Me personally, I don't see any real benefit of putting a condition in there, but if it's something the board feels we need to put in there. My guess, probably economics will drive that decision to take it down more than anything.
On the,
Right.
yeah, on the
schedule.
yeah.
I mean, it costs money to have it up in the air and somebody maintain it, so you're not gonna leave it up there any longer than you need to.
I'll second the motion as it exists.
Who made the motion, Carol?
Sure.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
2306. Okay,
A special exception 2306.
and a second by Dave.
Second.
Okay, any comments, question by the board? If not, all those in favor of the motion for 2306, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, 2306. Okay. All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we'll keep close along here while Dave comes back. 23-07. Applicant is Paul Hassenmiller. The proposal is the application asset Paul Hassenmiller be granted variance 23-07. Build a garage inside the required frontage setbacks for R1 zoning. And Paul? Okay, there's a second here. All right, paperwork. This could be the one that. These are late, correct? Correct. With the lot number 19. Okay, great picture here. All right, yeah, Paul, tell us a little bit about what you're proposing.
There's currently a small garage there and that will be removed. The right of way now is not the real question. The question is property line. The existing shed is away from the property line.
The side.
And my grinder is 5 feet north of that yet, from the other property. But I would like to get a garage 20 by 24 foot, and in there, widen the driveway and down into it.
Okay, just so I understood, that's the existing,
That's a 12 by 18,
okay, and so you're proposing to remove that
correct?
and then build a bigger one.
20 by 24.
And if your existing one is, the red line is the property line, right?
Correct.
Right up against it.
You,
I just bought this property 5 months ago.
All right,
and there is a survey that does show it, there is a 2-foot setback. From the property line, the survey is gonna show that and the front, and you'll be able to see by looking at the survey and comparing it to that. That again, it shifted, the property line should move closer to the road a little bit.
Yes, quite a bit actually.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
so there's currently 2-foot setback from the current shed to the newly surveyed property line.
Yeah, the retracement, yeah.
Right, okay. And then the new proposed building is gonna have how much setback from the property line?
Same amount, go with the same 2 foot.
Okay.
I just moved out the survey, so you guys. Currently, there's a 50 feet between the house and the property line. So I'll kind of show you the difference on here. I'm gonna pull into the eve just a little bit so that I'm fair. So there's the front property line. So it is quite skewed.
Okay, so Lori, I'm just a little confused. So what are we actually considering here? Just to the exception to build the shed or to build a shed with required setbacks or
We're looking
with
to,
exception to this setbacks?
yes, we're looking to have granted variance. That the setbacks, instead of the required 30 feet, are, let me get to my numbers again, sorry, Paul. We had too many cases when we memorized the different setbacks today.
17 versus 30.
I had to get to my staff report, yes, 17. To build a new detached residential garage with a front yard setback of 17 feet where a minimum 30-foot front yard setback is required. And then also requesting a side setback of 2 feet where the minimum required setback is 10.
Okay. 17 to the front or the roadside,
Yes, sir.
2 feet from the side, but we've already determined with the new survey that it's got the 2 feet.
It is, yeah, because I believe that was what Robert came up with, that there was a 2-foot setback.
So where the proposal is to actually consider those exceptions to both those.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because neither one of them meet the requirements.
Right.
All right,
And the 2-foot's already there.
all right.
And is, I don't know if it's been a problem or bothersome to anybody. The other 2 feet there, but
Mhm. Could you go back to the photo? I'm just curious, because I see a bunch of trees to the north there. And your neighbors are, looks like there's no housing on that next property to the north. Is that correct?
No, not this time. Steve's here.
Okay. That's not where, up by Kevin Boas was somewhere close to it.
His old house used to be on the end of the lake, he moved and they live on a different area.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay,
The access to the garage is gonna remain off the driveway, off
To the
the
south.
driveway, pulling, you now.
Yep, pull in, yep, in that direction.
you're just gonna consume some of your driveway for building.
Correct.
Okay.
And what's the roof pattern gonna be of the new garage? Is it gonna
Be the same.
be the same? So then drainage will go into your yard, then slope down into your neighbor's yard?
Correct.
And when we say a 2-foot setback, that means the eaves, not the building, right?
Which one is yours? Was it the base of the building or the eaves?
The base of the building.
What?
It's the base, but the eaves, it's flush that way.
The eaves of the building are flush with the base,
The eaves, well, the eaves are on the
the gable end.
east and west side rather than north side. North side is flush.
So the water is not draining to the north of the,
No,
that's
that's
southwest.
in the gutters and comes down along on the north side of the building and along.
Okay.
I was gonna look for a picture just real quick to see if I had one. Oops, go back.
Yeah. So that's how it exists right now.
Yep.
Okay. You're just increasing the size of that lake building.
And that was gone, or is that in the back?
That's the back.
By the lake, okay.
Any other questions by the board, comments? Any other comments or information?
We do have a neighboring property owner here too.
Okay,
The one to the north.
Yes.
all right, thank you. Someone from the audience like to talk.
I'm Steve Allhouse. My wife and I own the 2 lots right next to his property. We purchased this property approximately 21 years ago. And we've been grooming it to sell. We live across the street and right up above. And that row of trees and across the front, those are all ones that I planted. They're really beautiful white pines, arborvitae, and I had them trimmed up about 8 feet on his side of the property. So when you come down the road, you can see right through it in. The shed that Tim had put in, the previous owner, I don't think he ever permitted it, it just appeared one day. And it's really, like I said, it's 2 feet, it's really close. We have the intentions, we live up, see our house.
Oops, sorry. I went a little too far.
We have the intentions of selling those 2 lots as an investment for us. We have no other properties or anything. And we've had a driveway put in, we've had a grinder in there since they initially started the grinder program. I had the trees put in, I had other flowers, and we had it graded. And it's pretty much a ready to sell site. And the area between his house and those trees is where we want to get an easement when we sell the property, so we have access to the lake. And it's pretty close to there now already, and those trees are getting bigger. And it's a shed, not a garage. There's quite a bit of difference. And I would like to see that the 2 feet is the part that bothers me the most. And even in front, the 17 feet. We've been a Leisure Lake for 21 years, and I've been on the board, and I've been on the road committee, and I've been a precinct director, and
we've done a lot with Leisure Lake over the years. If everybody does have to agree, Leisure Lake's come a long way from where it used to be. And we're trying to clean it up and trying to make it more open. We don't want to demo or anything like that, where there's structures all over the place and variances aren't paid attention to. That's another aspect of it. So that the fact that we live there next door, we want to sell that property next door. And we want the access down through there. And we're trying to keep, Leisure Lake, a little more community looking and everything all jammed together and close to the roads and stuff like that. I guess that's about all I have to say.
Okay, so what I'm hearing then is that you're not in favor of just that 2-foot setback on the north side.
Right, that's my main objection. The front one it's gonna be pretty close. People in the neighborhood got rocks in their yards, so people don't drive in their yards. So the closer you get to the road, the more, liabilities you have for your buildings and stuff like that. A lot of golf carts and kids and stuff like that. And like, once again, it's close. My question was, why couldn't he move it further this way? And why does he have to be 2 feet over that far? He's got access, ability to come this way. The front setback, like I said, is too close to the side one. Is there an option, Paul, to move that garage over?
Very little.
Like I said, the shed was never permitted.
It slopes so bad coming down.
Yeah. And then you're also looking for 12 feet between the garage and the house.
No, it'll be closer than that to the house.
How much closer?
Probably about 4 foot.
Well, if you have a 49.9 setback, figure 50 feet, and you're gonna go 17 feet back, and you're gonna add 20 feet to that, that's 47. Or 17 to 37, so that leaves you the additional room in there you've got about 12 feet between the house and the garage. That's the way the math comes out. As far as the front setback. And the side setback, once again, I don't understand, you're gonna have to pour the driveway anyway, why you can't move it over.
Okay. Any further comments?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone on Zoom?
No, just us.
Okay. Any further comments from the audience? Sound like it? Or any further questions or comments for any of the people in the class? Hearing none, I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close public hearing.
Second. But we've got it first, and what I could hear in stereo. So. Okay, so we have a motion to close. Any other discussion? All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, public hearing. Thoughts, comments? I do have a question for the owners. Have you discussed this with the governing body at Leisure Lake, and they know what you're trying to do?
I called the president and I have not heard back from him, so. But not-
Okay.
yeah.
Right. So going back to the comments from the other gentleman, talking about that 2-foot setback. At this point, if you go back to the picture then. If you, so you don't have the ability or the room to move that building to the southeast to create more space between the property line and the back of that building because of slope issues.
Yep, there, where the road is down to the current flat slab that it's on, it drops down about 6 to 7 feet in a short period, and there's also to the left there, the edge of the blacktop is the property line, so to try and get anything to be able to turn, to get into it. Very tight the way it is. See what you mean?
If there's anything else you want me to display, or if I'm jumping around for you, just tell me to stop.
Just kind of visual. You're gonna increase the size of the building, 25%. Gonna encroach both on the driveway, but you're still proposing to keep the 2-foot setback in place. Then other than the variance from the required setback, what was the issue with the 2 foot behind the building next to the property owner? Was it, you're looking for an easement?
Well, when we have the property, people approaching us for purchasing it, and we want to have access, keep our access to the lake, because we just live on the other side of the road. And we have 4 lots up there, and it's all landscaped, and, we have a really nice neighborhood there. This is one of the nicer parts of Leisure Lake. And, always lived in Leisure Lake, and I think like he said, he stated, he just purchased the property, and it's pretty obvious that there's really not room for a garage there. So this is, that's where it's staying.
Board, any thoughts, comments?
Are you proposing to sell the next door lot as one lot or 2 lots?
It's one lot, actually, it's one, we'd have to sell it as 2. It's, otherwise it wouldn't, it wouldn't be right, because they're both kind of pies there. And so we assumed I'd sell it all as one, and we've been paying the grinder fee every month for all these years now, and that's in there ready to go. Driveways in, and, it's a really beautiful setting. It's one of the last 2, there's only 2 places left on the lake that are available for sale.
I lit up the lot lines for you guys too.
Yeah.
So that's not on our map, but that's on your map, right, Mark?
Yeah, it's on Beacon.
Yeah.
We're able to toggle that.
Yeah, you can see the driveway coming down from the top, and then there's another setting of trees, and we have a wall, built some picnic tables, and then the grinder's right at the very end of that driveway.
Are both those lots considered to be buildable?
Yes, they're both, big enough, they're over 20,000 square feet. Right, well, I know his lot is not, his is smaller than what's required, but it's pre-grid.
Then when you talk about an easement or access to the lake, right behind his
Right,
garage,
between the trees, the holes of the trees and the edge of the property, that's where we would want our access
so you want that access basically parallel with that property line,
Right.
parallel or right behind his
Correct,
garage.
and that shouldn't affect any building done on the other sides of the trees or anything. We just use it, for, just drive down through there to get to the lake and stuff. Like I said, it's a shed now, it's not a garage. I mean, there's a difference in height and size and, again, like I said, we'd like to get these 2 Leisure Lake less congested than what it has been. We've been accomplishing that by getting the trailers and things like that. I hate to have to go in the other direction with it.
Board, thoughts, comments? Yes.
I'm a new guy here, but I don't know how you can tell one person yes and another person no. I fell down the slippery slope long ago, so. That's just my opinion.
I'm just, Paul is new to the neighborhood, I'm surprised that he would approach me and told me what his plans were, being on the own property next to him, but that never occurred. That part of me too. We have a pretty close neighborhood there.
And Paul, you're saying there really is no other option as far as building a smaller garage with the required setback?
Not big enough to put a vehicle in and.
Right.
And you don't wanna go toward the lake because it'll block your view, or?
I can't get around behind. I have no access to get.
He just has 10 feet on either side, so
The
you
house,
really
the
can't
house
go
is
around.
10.5 feet from the property line on each side, and it slopes too much. And I cannot get around.
I'll show you a picture of the rear again, just so you can get a feel for it from the rear.
Right.
So you can see there's even a retaining wall holding back the front.
No, this has been changed since then. There's other
Oh.
retaining walls and there's a whole flat area back there now.
Okay.
With the yard. There's steps that come down. to the lake and stuff.
The trees and stuff that are on that property line there, those supposed to be out of place, so. These privacy line or something, so do you even see that backside of that shed? On the neighboring lot? The trees that are planted on that side there, are those? Like a privacy hedge?
Yeah, see, the road's really dusty there. I mean, it always has been, it's traffic. And so in addition, we put the trees in to define the lot and to protect it from the dust and for the beautification. I remember my wife asked me when we were putting them in, when we purchased, she said, why are you putting them in now? And I said, because trees take a long time. And so it's basically, it's a nice, probably about 16 big white pines, maybe a foot and a half, like that run down that whole side through there. And then it's all, grass is all cut and manicured.
And the trees, of course, are on your property. Yeah.
Correct. Right. But it's, you know, it's easy there. I mean, 2 feet makes it a lot worse. When I put the trees in, I moved them back 15 feet because I wanted to make sure that some room to get.
I think I would like to take a look at it. Before I make a decision, and reason being, Leisure Lake is its own little. Animal up there. I mean, there's buildings and not that, if anything follows, if any property up there follows a setback rule and they're fewer than the other direction.
And we applied
They'll be
for
greater than
a
accepted.
area.
So many times up there because those lots are non-conforming. I personally would rather take a look at it directly, and I should have done that before meeting tonight, but life happens. Before I make a decision on that one.
So is there a motion to? Or just to say we're gonna put this one on hold, or what are our thoughts here? If we're not comfortable making a decision one way or the other, and I haven't looked at it either. I read it, but I didn't see these pictures, which.
You would have the option, these are on Beacon, I didn't include those, but these are on Beacon. And I mean, that would be one of your options to table it to another meeting.
I would feel more comfortable with that. I mean, just there's a neighbor who's contesting it, but we've also got a property owner that can't have a garage.
And yet there's a building that's already there.
Exactly.
That was
Yeah.
put there before he bought it,
Yeah,
so, you know, how did it get put there in the first place?
It's Leisure Lake.
it's Leisure Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I will admit, they're getting better, because people have heard bad rumors and things about the new zoning administrator. So most of them are true. And, so I think people are understanding that compliance with the zoning ordinances are gonna be followed. And we're doing the best we can with what we have to work with this right now. So we're working on that. And we're also working on compliance with the nuisance ordinance out there.
Well, I tend to agree with Abby. I'd like to go look at it and look at the rest. I've been to Leisure Lake a couple times, but then really look around and see all the variations of building locations. Probably gives us a better idea. But back to your point too, is if the building was there, somehow it got there. We don't know what happened in the past, but
And
we want to just keep pushing that agenda forward, or do we want to try and get back to where we're trying to comply with the ordinance?
I didn't find anything where there was any complaints on it either. Did you have any complaints, sir, Mr. Althouse?
Oh, the shed that's there. now.
Yeah,
I'm the only one that has the property next door.
right.
The only complaint that Tim had was too small.
Okay, but you never made a complaint to the zoning administrator about the zoning violation or anything?
No, Tim kind of apologized later on for making it so close that was a moot point at that time.
Is there concrete under that building?
Yes.
You want to make a motion?
I'd make a motion to table. What is this? Variance 20-06.
23 dash.
20-0. Until our next May meeting. With encouragement that all of us as members would either make a site visit at some point in time in that month.
And if anyone wants to go out with me, you're more than welcome to. Sideline.
It's something finally.
No.
Bar's closed there now. They can't-
I heard that rumor. It's probably good.
It's for sale.
All right, we have a motion to table this till next meeting, so you get that, the board has a chance to go and visit the site. You know, we'll also look at all the properties up there, see what's going on.
Yeah, and then I can kind of show you some other properties that have close setbacks that did go through the Board of Adjustment. And then show you some of the good, bad, and ugly that never did what they were
Never
supposed
went,
to.
you know, the official route.
Mhm.
All right, I have a motion.
Okay.
And a second. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of tabling 22-07 until next month, say aye.
I,
All those opposed?
May I just add something to you guys, just to think about, Leisure Lake is changing a lot as far as who's buying property and the values that are being paid. The people that are buying property there now are, relatively my age. They're, closer to retirement age, and they're buying it as their permanent homes. And Leisure Lake is zoned R1. And one of the questions that's on our staff report is this going to permit or hinder? And let me get to the right question. Anyway, this is an R1 property, and our detached garages typical in R1 properties. I'm gonna tell you, yes, most properties in R1 are gonna have a garage large enough for a vehicle. And yeah, but Leisure Lake's changing. It's becoming more of a permanent residence area and not just your weekend, let's go fish, let's hang out with our buddies. It's transitioning to more full-time residents than it's ever had. And two, what I'm seeing with the people that are moving in now, they are the type of people that are taking better care of their property than maybe previous, or some of the people that have been there a while in certain parts of the county, or excuse me, of project.
Okay.
So just to make you guys aware that, it's changing there,
Okay. I'm like, feel better.
for the better.
All right, well, the motion is passed. Paul, we will, address this next month and have something for you by then.
Okay.
All right, thank you for your patience. Thank you.
Thank
for
you
your
very
comments. All right. Next up, back to 23-08. Applicant is Michael Delaney. And the application has said Michael Delaney be granted special exception number 23-08 for an ag service business involving agricultural chemicals or fertilizer. All right. Mr. Delaney?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you're looking for.
I have an existing, ag retail space. Looking to add an additional building off to the side.
And I see this is up by the Bellevue Cascade Road.
Yes.
216, I'm not quite sure. if that in perspective, well, Bellevue Cascade, how far?
Down by Otter Creek gas station. I think it's 2-3 miles.
Oh, okay. That, by the llama farm?
Just up the road, mile from, Packer.
Alpaca, okay, alpacas. Llamas, alpacas, yeah,
Yeah, very similar.
okay,
Here's the, Otter Creek Station, you guys,
okay, there you go.
and there's this other property.
And currently there is nothing on that property?
There's a Pioneer seed shed
Okay,
on the property.
We had a sign issue there last year, we moved it, and that's the variance for the sign.
okay.
Was there also a variance for the building and the use?
Correct.
Okay. It was both.
Pardon me?
It was both. It was two different variances,
Oh.
one for the sign and then one for the special exception use
Right.
of an ag business on agriculturally zoned property.
Are you still gonna try the half ag and half commercial thing with the assessor's office?
No,
You're gonna get rid of that?
yeah,
I mean, go all commercial?
yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, this building that I'm proposing is gonna be on the side. And, half of it is gonna be like machine shed, just gravel floor, put the tractors in. And then the other half would be a heated, space just for expansion.
And you're gonna be retailing fertilizers and chemicals?
No fertilizers, but, herbicides similar to like, Everhart's or Nutrien or.
And the exception is to grant that the building can be built, is that it? Or-
Yes, for that use.
Okay,
And that is allowable special exception use under A1 for agricultural
Okay.
businesses.
So it's retail sales, right?
Right now, we're just storing Pioneer seed and
Okay.
then.
To the people that are doing seed business with you.
Yeah.
but with the new building, would a farmer drive up with his pickup truck and buy chemicals out of this building?
They can, if they want. Yep.
So it's all packaged, no bulk storage for chemicals?
There may be bulk in the future. I'm not sure right away, but
Yeah.
You have to do all the EPA containment stuff and all that,
correct. Yep.
so that's all separate an issue.
Yeah, and you have to get titles or Iowa Department of Agriculture.
Yeah,
You gotta get all that.
and your wells on the other side or out in front or.
Correct. Yep. If that's setback.
Would any new signage be required for this? Covered that last. time.
Yeah.
Okay. Then as far as the road goes, that's a 2-lane road there, you're gonna see an increased number of semis coming in here with.
Not any more than 1%.
Yeah.
Small percentage.
Okay, so no traffic issues. Looks like based on this proposed, you'll have plenty of room to get
It's a
out,
very large parking lot,
right?
driveway.
But also the right amount of curvature, going onto the road, so semis aren't running any ditch or impeding traffic.
Yep.
And then it's not, is it fairly flat along here, so there's plenty of sight distance?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a hump, in the front. We're gonna take that back, similar to what we did in the front of the other side. It's actually gonna increase visibility.
Okay.
So last time we went through this, we had the discussion from your neighbor about landing helicopters there to put, insecticide on the spray for.
Yep.
And so that's something that's been happening then.
Correct. Yep.
So, okay. And so you expect that to continue to happen then?
I plan on doing that in the future. Yep.
Okay.
At this side here?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is a floodplain an issue here?
So it sits kind of up on the hill.
Correct.
Okay. All right, any other questions by the board? Comments?
I just lit up the floodplain for you, Daryl. And it's nothing on this side of the building where they're gonna be building is gonna be an issue.
Okay. All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any comments from the audience? All right, nobody on Zoom anymore.
Let me just make sure.
Nobody.
No, still just us.
Okay, very good. All right, if there are no other comments from the audience.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second. We have a motion, Dave, and a second from Pete, to close the public hearing. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed. Any comments from the board, questions, thoughts?
I just want to make sure I'm clear that by granting this exemption for him to build, well, actually, to run the business, all the containment requirements are somebody else's.
Who does that fall under? The containment requirements?
I mean, if you saw it, you know, storing chemicals.
Yeah, EPA. Yep.
Right.
So we have to get EPA certified. Yep. And so we hired a, company out of Dubuque, Origin Design, would do all the engineering work for it. Submit that to the EPA report.
All the spill containment sizing, all that sort of thing, storage requirements are all in here. All right.
And if there was problems, they'd be the ones that would say, no, or fix it.
Okay. Good. Comments, questions? I guess I entertain a motion on this 23-08.
Make a motion to accept or approve the special exemption 2308.
Okay. Second?
I'd second that.
Okay, and then motion will approve 2308 and a second. Any other comments or questions by the board? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving 23-08, say aye. 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 All opposed? 2308 has been approved. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Get with me, we'll get you set up for that permit, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome. Finally, 23-09.
Okay,
Owner Brenton Sheila Nugent, thank you for being patient. The proposal is the applicant's application asset Brenton Sheila Nugent be granted special exception to number 2309 to build a covered porch on the front of the house as close as 28 feet to the front property line.
and I am the applicant.
Oh, yes. you
I
are.
am the applicant.
I'm sorry, I skipped right down.
That's so. Brett and Sheila appropriately applied for their zoning permits.
Okay,
Somehow or another, there was misunderstanding, probably on my part, or whatever it is, they built on the same footprint that was there previously, which met the 40-foot front setback for A1. And the way our zoning ordinance is read or written, they can have an uncovered porch that can protrude into a front right away. It's covered porch, and I overlooked that or was going with uncovered when I approved the permit. So it's a 12-foot porch. So that would extend 12 foot further than the original 40-foot setback, leaving a 28-foot variance request. Or, yeah, to allow for a 28-foot setback versus a 40.
okay. Could you bring up that picture, just so I can get a different perspective of it? This is Highway 62.
It's only 14 foot to of the one that sticks out there.
Okay.
14 foot line.
And you're right across.
So
the
this
road.
has already been done?
Oh, yeah. I had all the cement in and all of the rafters and everything already ordered and on site when she called me 30 days after I had my permit.
Okay.
This is, yeah, like I said, it's an after the fact request from me due to an error.
Okay. And the porch faces.
The highway.
Southeast, though, so the
Well-
water's draining. off the
Actually, the water drains to the driveway.
porch. Okay.
There's actually two porches to it. There's one screen porch to the north there, and then there's a 12 by 14, and then a 6 foot on the other side of it.
Okay. So the porch in question, based on the drawing in there, is to the off the southeast face.
Right there. Let's let me draw it. Come on. Sorry about that, guys.
I use original basement, added 14 foot to the back of basement, and then I added 30 foot to the, for a garage to the east off the highway.
It's very nice looking building, by the way.
I'm sorry.
It's very nice looking
Yeah,
building.
it's very nice. It will be very nice.
So it's going towards Highway 62, which is right here.
It's in behind the trees.
It is behind the trees.
Okay. And the requirement originally was 28 feet?
It was,
40 feet if it's covered. Well, I'm assuming that's to make sure the water gets well away.
It won't go to the ditch, it's gonna go to the road like it did.
Right.
Or to the driveway, I'm sorry.
yeah, when I measured off the plan, I was measuring 12.
Yeah, I remember you measured it off of the scale.
Yeah, because it was, I showed it stuck up 12 foot from the corner of the house.
Yes, it's 14 wide, but
Ah,
it's
got
12
it.
foot out.
Good, because I'm like, oh,
Yes,
okay.
it's 12 foot out,
Okay.
but half of that is only 6 foot out.
Right, but this, the
part that
furthest
sticks out
distance that,
is 12 foot.
yes, sir.
Lori, I
Yes,
think
sir.
we're a little confused because the picture that we have here with the drawing indicates that the porch actually goes towards the driveway.
There's
That's a
another,
different-
that's a
that's a
different
screen
porch.
That's a 3-season room.
Okay, so the porch in question is coming off the northwest side.
Yeah, let me find it here. Yeah, it's the side closest to the highway.
That's the front, the porch of the concrete.
The front towards the highway.
This is towards the highway.
You can't see it for the trees in that.
Oh, you have a picture, Sheila? Awesome.
Take it from the road toward the house.
Okay, very good.
Okay. The porch is on the northwest side face of the.
Yes, I was trying to draw that.
Right, that is correct. It's on the northwest corner of the house.
Okay,
But the other screen Three Seasons room is actually on the north side also, straight towards the riverside, Godfrey Falls.
Okay,
This was all in place, is what she called it.
right. Then you have a tree line there that's kind of blocking the.
It's behind it, yes.
You can't, once it's complete, well,
I'm sorry,
is it completed now? You said
it is done.
But you can't see the porch from the road?
Oh, you can see. it.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
There- I thought you said there was trees.
Oh, there's two great big trees. No, they're
Oh,
huge.
big ones, okay, not like pine trees or something.
Yeah, they're not arborvitae, they're more like maples or oaks or
Okay.
something.
They're open underneath it too.
We cleaned it, or
Okay.
we'll come to trim them all. It made the house, it's the only way I could fix this house is to do 40 foot wide, to put the peak this way because of the existing basement. And then as tall as it was, it's the only way I could do is put a porch on the front of it to make it, I don't want to look like a shed, I want it to look like a house. And that's what, we put the fireplace back on it and everything. Like original.
We did have contact from one neighbor who gave us a thumbs up.
Okay,
And the county engineers on board too.
Yeah, I did run this one by Jaden.
Okay.
Just to see if he saw anything that looked like any concerns and, with the bank and the distance, because that's another wide right away.
oh,
So if we're going center line and pulling out. There's 70 feet from the center line of the road going out.
why do we need that much right away? Or land development.
Yeah.
Yeah. DOT doesn't turn back to a gravel road.
So-
They're trying to be a gravel road.
But yeah, so that one is another one that has an exceptionally wide right of way.
Okay. All right, any more comments from the applicant? Any more questions from the board, from the applicant?
I will close the public hearing.
May I just add one other thing? When I found out that this air was here, I went straight to the county attorney and asked him what his thought was, and he says that's why we have the Board of Adjustment.
Okay,
So, yeah,
do, yeah, make adjustments.
yep.
All right,
Definitely improvement from what was said.
we have a motion from Dave and a second. Over here. Any other comments, questions? All right, all those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, any other questions or comments from the board?
I move to approve special exemption number 2309.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Shaking the heads, no. Okay, those in favor of 2309, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? 2309, that's been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, for duration.
Yeah. And if you've never witnessed one, if you wanna, you know,
No.
they're always taking applications. This is a little like a big one.
Well, Pete, normally you don't start off your first meeting with.
Good to get your feet wet.
Yeah.
Good job.
This might be a record, you guys. From everything I've found or heard, I think, Daryl, is this a record?
This is a lot.
Aren't you glad we started at 6 instead of like 7 though? Oh, I'm falling asleep. I don't know.
We're done.
We better adjourn the meeting.
You got a motion to adjourn?
Motion, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So second necessary.
Aye.
Approved, you're adjourning at 7, whatever.
And we will have a need, we will have a need meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally too late now. Everybody can do it.
And anyone that wants to go with me, let me know and I'll be more than happy to go with you.
Yeah, I like it.
It is.
If you wanted to